Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our Virtual Press Office and PR Newswire webinar, where we will cover online press offices as well as some tips and tricks that you can use while attending and exhibiting at a trade show. So today's presenters are myself, this is Gina Dennis, and I am the Event Marketing Manager at Virtual Press Office. And we also have Elisa Kopech-Miller. She is an account manager with VPO as well.
Hi.
And here's a little bit of an overview of what we'll be discussing today. We will go over the virtual press office, the online press office, and online press kits. We will be discussing how to reach the media before and during the show. We will also be covering creating an engaging press kit, some examples of successful PR campaigns, how the media benefit from the online press office, benefits of the online press office for exhibitors, and we're also going to touch on PR Newswire distribution. So for those of you who don't know, Virtual Press Office is the trade show division of PR Newswire, and we host online press offices for events and trade shows in many industry categories. And for this slide, this is an example of what an online press office looks like. We basically have all press kits from the exhibitors who participate in the online press office, as well as the news releases that come from those exhibitors and the show as well. We also have social media streaming from the show, and there's also a button for any industry professionals or media journalists, bloggers to sign up for news alerts. You can do so directly on the page, which is great. So this is just an example of our tiered online press kits. We do have 3 options available for different types of press kits, depending on what your company's outreach needs are, as well as your budget. So we have made this model so it's a lot more beneficial for people who have different needs. So we do have a micro kit, standard and premium, which all have different document types. So you can include either 3, 6, or 10 documents. And that includes, press releases, brochures, images, fact sheets, really anything that you would include in a physical paper press kit, you can also include in an online press kit. And I also have included a click here. You can find full product information and pricing on these 3 packages. If you would like to get a little bit more information, I will be going into depth a little bit more, but that has everything there for you. So this is an example of actually our premium online press kit. And this includes, every press kit does include a company banner, so you can brand your page and where all of your press materials will reside on the left-hand side. So you have your news releases, you can embed videos, include images, and any other documents. And in this instance, in the premium press kit, this also includes a scrolling banner, which is great if you have any call to action, stop by our booth and it can link back to your page or link back to any product information hosted on your website. So that's a really great feature to further brand your page. And we also have social media capabilities. So what you saw on the online press office, we also can include in your online press kit. And that will include really any of your company's social media. We can pull in your Twitter page. We can pull in your Facebook page, your Google+, Instagram, LinkedIn, really any social media that your company is using, we can include in your press kit as well. This page is also mobile friendly, so it's a responsive site that will be great across any tablets or cell phones as well. And with your press materials, you also receive distribution of your press releases to industry media that request to receive this news. So there's proactive distribution as well to your news releases. And lastly, you also receive measurement of your page. You will receive weekly and monthly updates of the traffic of your page, so you can really measure how well your page is doing and how many visitors you're receiving. So Lisa is going to discuss with you how to reach the media before and during the show.
Thanks, Gina. So now that you kind of have some insight into what the press kit is about and what you can include there, I wanted to also give you just some tips and tricks for how to get the most out of your press kit at your trade show. Let's go over the direct pitch. So even though you have your press kit and your news releases, you still don't want to abandon the concept of reaching out to the media directly. The preferred method of a direct contact with the media is still email. We've confirmed this with a recent media panel discussion. The press are typically not at a desk all day, and they're just like you and I. They're constantly on their phones, and they're checking their email there. So when you're doing your direct pitch through email, you want to keep that in mind. Keep a short headline is really helpful. If you look at your phone right now, just go in and pull up your emails. Count how many words are in the preview of the subject line for an email. It's usually about 6 or 7 words. So just bear in mind when you're doing your direct pitching, that's about how many words you're going to show or the media will see from your email before they decide to open or swipe and delete. So you want to make sure that you keep a short, really captivating subject line when you're doing your direct pitch. It's almost as important, if not more important than writing a headline, is writing that subject line in your direct pitch. Some other good advice to consider when you're doing your direct pitch is, who are you pitching? Look at the journalists that you're going to email. Look at their recently covered stories. Look at their social media feeds. Kind of do some research on that actual journalist. It goes a long way if you can reference a story that they've recently worked on or a topic that they covered before you jump right into your pitch. If you do the work to tie it back to something that they cover, that also goes a long way for the media. Another tip for doing your direct pitch for your actual concept of your pitch is to do what we call a news jack, which is basically injecting your story into a breaking story in the news. So something that's a big global or national or even local headline, depending on who you're pitching. If there's a big story that's covering the news, then it's a great idea to look at it from your company's perspective and think about, is there a fresh angle that I can provide to the media on this story, and how does my company relate to it? And if you can come up with a good, relevant, new angle for the media on a large trending topic, that also is very helpful. And if you're pitching the right media, you can get some really good pickup if you look at the news that's out there from the big perspective. Next, I'd like to go over some more pre-show advice, which would be an advisory just announcing your presence at your trade show. Weeks out from an event, the media will start to come to the page and look to see who's on there so they can get an idea of what type of news to expect. Oftentimes when I go to some of these shows, I feel like it already happened before I even got there because all the news kind of breaks right before the event. So you really want to be on top of that. If you are going to do a pre-show advisory, I would suggest doing it at least a few days before the event. We send out a roundup release always the Thursday before our events, so that's a good suggested timeline. But even up to a few weeks before, you can send out something like this to the press and just give them the details on the who, what, where, when, why, and how. But really think about that, the who, who will be available for interview. Will your CEO be available for interview on a certain day? You want to put that in there. Who's going to be at the booth? Who will be demonstrating? What will be on display? Make sure that you're including any relevant images that can be picked up in maybe a blog or story before the show. where. It's always a good idea to put your booth number. When you're on the floor trying to find a booth, also from personal experience, you're looking on everything trying to find where's their booth number. So you can never have that listed too many times. Again, any demo schedules or press conferences, you want to make sure that that's in your pre-show release. And then it's always good to look at, again, the big picture, the why, a bird's eye view perspective of why you're going to be exhibiting. That's really good especially for a pre-show release, to include that. And then you want to include the how, meaning how can the media or a potential visitor at your booth book an appointment or reach out to you.
So now we're just going to go over creating an engaging press kit and some tips to do so for the online press kits. So Lisa,
okay. So let's start with compelling content. Let's help you tell your story. Some good tips here for creating a press kit that gets lots of click-throughs and shares is to don't sell, inspire. You want to not so much give the story, but just make it so easy for the media to pick up and run with an idea. And that kind of takes it back to that big bird's eye view perspective. How does what your company will be featuring at your booth affect the industry as a whole? You want to kind of take a big look at that and make sure that you include big picture items. Give your press kit audience a choice. And what I mean by that is you want to be sure that you're including different formats. So if you, for example, are launching a new product, do you have a formal press release in there? Do you have a YouTube video explaining the product? Do you have maybe a spec sheet giving some quick bullet points of information on the product? Do you have an infographic if somebody wants to use that in their blog post? So you really want to think about different mediums and give your audience a choice of what type of content they want to grab and run with from your press kit. Focus the content to support your trade show message. So what I mean by that is oftentimes it's easy to just go and pull your latest news releases, the last 4 releases from your website and put them in here. And that's fine, but you also really want to make sure that you're telling the story of why you're at that trade show. There's a reason that you're going, right? So other than just dumping your latest releases in there, you want to really tell the story of your company at that event. And again, that's through adding content that you might not necessarily put in there. Take a step back and think about what do we have available. Do we have an explainer video? Do we have a blog post that we've recently posted? You can give us the URL and we'll post that in here for you. So just look at the reason why you're at the show and make sure that your press kit is telling that story for you. Amplify your press kit's message through promotion. And through promotion, there's, of course, over PR Newswire, we have packages, and I'll get into that in a few more slides about how to distribute your news over PR Newswire as well as posting it to your press kit. So you want to do something to really drive traffic to your kit. We do send out the latest news releases from your kit, but make sure that you're doing your own promotion as well. We make the press kit very easy to share on social media, to email, to the press. There's a little, it's cut off in the screenshot, but at the bottom of the press kit there's an email icon, which is huge for if you're on the trade show floor and you're talking to somebody, rather than handing them a CD or a big packet of press kit information that they're probably going to misplace or leave in their hotel room. Just email them the press kit and it's right there in their inbox.
Now, this is just some further examples of how you can create a little bit more of an engaging press kit. As I showed you earlier before, we do have social media feed capabilities. So absolutely include your Facebook and Twitter. So whatever you're announcing on social media will pull directly into this page. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop for all of your documents as well as the buzz that's going on on the internet and through your social media channels. And we also have the ability to create a call to action button. So you can put directly on your page a lead generation form, and you will receive a notification every time someone fills out this inquiry. So if they want any additional information about a product that you're showing at the event or any other information, they can fill it out and you can receive that automatically to your inbox. And make sure the kit is available to the sales team to share on the show floor. So they will have access to everything directly on the show floor. Again, these are responsive websites, so it's a lot easier for journalists to be able to see this on their phones or their tablets or anything that they're bringing with them to get show news from. So this is the triple check. Just make sure that you do research for the media before the show. Ask these questions, does your press kit include your booth number to make sure that they know where you're exhibiting, your current logo, and this is really important. Make sure that you include a phone number and email where you can be reached during the show. A lot of people will maybe just put one contact, but they're not necessarily attending the trade show. So it's a back and forth of trying to figure out who they can contact to schedule a meeting. So if you need to put 2 contacts on there, and just make sure that one of those contacts are someone that is actually attending the show. Also include a calendar of events. Do you have any press conferences going on? Do you have anything that you want to include for people to attend? Make sure to put that into your press kit. Again, all of your social media channels and anything that has important news coming from those feeds. Any product shots that you have of anything that you're presenting, and as well as video. Everyone's very visual when it comes to these trade shows. So absolutely, if you have videos that are going on during the show, you can include those in your online press kit. And make sure to be social. This is an example from RSNA. Be sure to use the hashtags. In this instance, their official hashtag was RSNA15, but for whatever trade show you're presenting at, be sure to keep using the official hashtag to keep on the buzz that's going on surrounding the show. Update your social media throughout the day. Make sure that everything that you're presenting or any big announcements that you're having, you update that throughout the show. Be conversational. Follow the bloggers and influencers that most interest you at RSNA. This is an example, but at any show that you're attending or exhibiting at, and chime into their online conversations that pertain to your brand. And you can also share your online press kit, as Lisa mentioned, on your social media accounts. And also diversify your content on social media. Make sure you have an array of different things that you're putting on there, and different tweets and headlines and things like that, just to keep it interesting within your social media channels.
I would add to that, Gina, just really quick. Sorry to interrupt. When you're going back to diversifying your content on social media, I don't know how closely everyone follows Twitter, but they're really changing the way the content appears on Twitter. So it's really organizing itself to tell a story and be less noisy when you log onto Twitter. So if you go in and search for a hashtag, you can see on the screenshot what they're doing is they now organize it into photos, videos, and accounts, meaning Twitter handles, and then just the live feed. So before it used to be just the live feed of all the latest tweets about that hashtag. Now they're making it easier to go in and find and search just by photo, video, accounts. So when you post your content to social media, you want to take that into consideration so that you are adding all of the different types of content that will be pulled into Twitter so that you are across the board and you're part of that story on the hashtag.
So now we are going to go into some examples of successful PR campaigns and some news releases that really stand out.
These are just a few recent headlines that I pulled from prnewswire.com from, I think I went into the Consumer Electronics feed to find some good examples of headlines. The first one here, Tucker Toys wins 11 awards, adds direct retail and consumer business model. I like this headline because I could almost just, I see this situation happening a lot where a company has so much going on in their release that they kind of don't know what to put in the headline. For example, this one, they won 11 awards. So instead of trying to cram all the information about what awards they won, they just kept it that simple. They won 11 awards. So it really, when you're writing your headline, you want to make sure that you're leaving out the industry jargon, but at the same time keeping in the keywords that you know that that will be searched for within your industry. So I know that's kind of going both ways, but I think they did a really good job here of taking what sounds like a lot of company news and putting it into one short headline that's easy to digest. The second headline is from Ricoh. Information gets crisper, brighter, and more shareable with Ricoh's newest high-end projectors. So again, they do a really good job here of leaving out the jargon. It makes you want to click into that release to find out more information, where then they do include the details on the DPIs and all the resolutions, and it gets more detailed within the release, but the headline does a really good job of just saying high-end projectors. They leave it at that. They're not putting all the details into the headline. They're using good descriptive words here, crisper, brighter, more shareable. So this is just another example of a headline that is that gets your attention and makes you want to click in to read more. Some other tips for writing a headline would be make sure that your headline tone matches the release. So, for example, if you're doing a more serious release, you want to make sure the headline is serious. That's not a good time to do like a pun on words. But then if your release is more informal, then you can get a little more creative and playful with what your headline is. Also, something to consider when you're writing your headline, this is primarily now you're writing for search engine results. So we recommend, actually Moz, which is an SEO consulting company, they released guidelines for title and headline length, and they recommend 55 characters. They say that's a safe bet before your headline gets cut off in search engine result pages. So under 55 characters is the way to go when you're considering the search engine results. And also understand and use your keywords. So again, you don't want to get too detailed on the words you're using, but you do want to find your keywords that work well in your industry and make sure you're including those. Next, multimedia does drive content. PR Newswire has done a few different studies now that do show that press releases that include multimedia do get more views, up to almost 10 times more views than releases that do not have multimedia. And then again, here's another piece of information. Almost half of the top performing press releases include visual elements. And if you just go to any news page, your eye is automatically drawn to the stories that have an image or a video. So it is important, even if it's just a logo, to have some sort of multimedia element in your news release. It will definitely boost your results if you include some sort of multimedia element. Here are some examples. This is again from RSNA. This is a show that's happening now as we're recording this. These are some examples of well-performing releases. These are two of the top releases from the show last year, and they're both well-written headlines, but they both have an image, and the images really drive clicks to your release. When you go to your reporting from your PR Newswire release, we will show you a lot of different details on your image click-throughs as well as engagements, which means shares and click-throughs to images in your press release. So the more content that's in your release, the more engagement you're going to get from the end users.
Great, thank you, Lisa. So now we're just going to touch on how the media benefits from the online press office. One major element that we do with all of the online press kit news releases is that the media subscribed to a show or an industry, they will automatically receive your headlines to their inbox. So I did touch on that earlier, but they will receive the proactive distribution of your news releases directly to their inbox, which is great. So you know anything that you're putting on your online press kit is directly, in terms of your news releases, are going to the media that are interested in your industry or in the show itself. And a great benefit when we are the official news distribution partner for an event, your news will also be sent to the media attending the show. So if we are the official online press office, the attending media will receive your news as well. Your news is also posted to our dedicated website, which is vporoom.com. So on top of being posted to that online press office area, it is also posted to our page where media do come to see what kind of news is coming out of trade shows that are coming up. So this is a secondary source for them to track down any news releases coming out of specific events. And there's also a very easy VPO subscription service for media or industry professionals. They can go directly to our either vporoom.com or they can go to the online press office itself, and they can receive the news alerts by email, which I just discussed. So if you also even know anybody, or if you yourself want to sign up to receive news alerts for a specific show, you can do so here, and you will receive those headlines through that email distribution service. And now we're going to talk about some benefits of the online press office for exhibitors. So a big one is that it saves time and money. Having an online press kit reduced your cost. You don't have to go and make paper press kits or buy CDs and USBs. You also don't have to pay for any shipment of your online press kits to the show. So it all resides online, which will reduce your cost, in turn reducing your workload as well, which will reduce your cost because you don't have to burn CDs and flash drives and make paper press kits weeks in advance. Once all of your materials are ready, you just email it to us and we post it for you and we manage that online press kit area for you. It also eliminates waste. Journalists don't have to hunt down your information or go through cubbies or anything like that. Your content is centralized in a single event news site, and your PR contact listing is also on your online press kit, so that allows for easy follow-up for the journalist to try to contact you on the show floor. So a big one also is flexibility and shelf life. Press materials can come anytime before, during, and right after the show. So if you have any breaking news announcements that happen while you're at the show, you don't have to sit there and, you don't have that in your paper press kit, or you don't have to try to include them in the CDs that you've already burned. you can send it to us during the show, and it updates automatically for you while you're there. And your press kit is also available well beyond the show dates. It's approximately 9 months your URL will be active, so you could use your online press kit further, continue sharing it on social media, and put it on your company website. You can really utilize the page itself to lengthen the shelf life of your content that you exhibited through the show.
It'll come up in search results also, which is nice. So if especially if you're a new business building your online visibility, it'll come up along with your homepage and any press releases you've issued. It'll come up on that first page of results.
Yes, exactly. The SEO on your online press kit will help with the search results. And lastly, it also eliminates uncertainty. As I discussed a little bit before, you will receive those weekly and monthly reports of your online press kit traffic to really measure the engagement of your page. And as I said, because it's not like a paper press kit where only the press that's attending is going to be able to receive those, it's active 24/7. There's no passwords to it. So really anyone who is looking for your information, or maybe media that can't attend the show are looking for your information, they can find it online, and you can measure really how many hits you're receiving to that page. So now Lisa's just going to discuss some PR Newswire distribution options. As I mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, we are a PR Newswire company. So because of this, we can offer exhibitors deeply discounted bundles if you include a PR Newswire release distribution with an online press kit.
Thanks, Gina. So it's important to note that you don't have to be a PR Newswire member to purchase one of these packages. We've created a real easy process for any exhibitor at an event to order one of these packages without going through the whole membership process of PR Newswire. If you only send news during a trade show once a year, then you don't need a PR Newswire account, so you can go directly through virtual press office and distribute your news that way. You do receive the full benefit of a PR Newswire national distribution in our national exposure package. What we include with this is your online press kit plus one news release over US One, which is our premium domestic news line. It will go to over 5,000 websites, newsrooms, trade publications. The other nice thing about this is that we expand the word limit to 800 words, so that's about a couple Word document pages there before you get any additional length charges from PR Newswire. So we try to expand the word limit from the traditional 400 word limit to 800 words, so that the cost of the package is what you're paying. We also include with this PR Newswire's social post, which is taking your PR Newswire release headline and tweeting that out. PR Newswire has different industry news handles, so you can go on Twitter and subscribe to any of these, and you'll see the latest industry news coming out, and your headline will be included on these Twitter handles since we include the social post with this package. Your news will also post to PR Newswire for journalists. PR Newswire is the only wire service to have this media-only website. We have 80,000 active users. You have to be an actual member of the press in order to have a login. And our reporting will show you information on what press we're looking at your release from PR Newswire for journalists. So that takes me to post-show visibility reports. You do get the premium visibility report from PR Newswire showing all of your click-through details, click-throughs from PR Newswire for journalists. We give you information on what images were clicked on. We also give you several scores, And these scores range from 0 to 100, and what they do is gauge how well your news release did compared to other similar news releases. So we measure things like engagement. We measure how much pickup you received. So these are really, really helpful reports to take a look at after the show to see how well your release did. We also have options to upgrade to a release that would include a multimedia gallery because, again, we know how important it is to include multimedia with your news release. So this is the National Exposure Package. It's probably our most used option, and it is the best value as well. Another option is our Web Visibility Package. This is basically your online press kit plus distribution of one news release over PR Newswire's WebMax Plus, which is the online-only distribution. So you could do this for any traditional release, which is fine. It's not going directly to newsrooms. It's only going online. So you're getting it in the search engines, and you're expanding your reach beyond just the press media at the event. It does include one image on prnewswire.com as well, and the premium reporting. Like I mentioned, you could use this for a traditional news release, but it's also a really good tool to use if you have something that's not a traditional release that you would like to promote. What I mean by that is maybe a blog post, or maybe you have a new infographic or study that your company has launched, and you don't have a full news release to go with it. A lot of companies are finding huge success with this WebMax Plus distribution if they put together a blog post and then send out a short, almost advisory. It'll kind of look like an advisory over PR Newswire, just giving the gist of what your blog post is about, and then a link to the blog post within the PR Newswire release. So the release itself is only maybe 100 or 200 words or so, and really the purpose of that release is to drive traffic to your blog post. This is a quote from the CEO of KCSA, which is a regular PR Newswire customer, and they have seen such good results from using this tactic to drive traffic to their blog post, and they've seen huge spikes in new audience views. So it's essentially sending new audiences to your homepage, to your blog post, to the study that you've released, whatever you want it to be. So it's a good way to promote content that you don't have a formal news release for, or maybe it's last minute, you didn't get a news release together for the event, but you definitely have something that you want to drive traffic to for your press, for your exhibit at a show. You can put together just a quick summary saying what that you're going to be at a trade show, and then link to your latest blog post about the show. That's just kind of a hypothetical, but whatever you want to do, it's a good way to boost traffic to your company page and to your content without doing a formal news release.
Okay, so we first and foremost want to thank you all for joining us today. And we want you to know that we're here to help. For any additional information on any packages, or if you'd like one of our representatives to go through any options that would be the best fit for you at the next trade show you're exhibiting at, please feel free to contact us. Our email and our phone number is right here, and one of our VPO representatives will be able to assist you in any and all of your trade show needs coming up within the next year. So again, thank you on behalf of Lisa and myself for joining us today, and we hope you have a great day.